Hey everybody, Randy Kurtz here for the ISB with Body and Base. So we're continuing to answer your questions, which I appreciate. You can always send those to Jason at Contrabase Conversations or the ISB World Office or myself, DRKERTZ at drkertz.com. The questions we talked about last time were posturally related, and this sort of continues on that vein. We had some requests for how to reduce tension on the wrists. Great question. So again, like most of the things we'll be talking about here, it's about awareness. One's approach to the instrument, very important. I like particularly the Gary Peacock interview on Contrabase Conversations where he talked about that very thing. Anyway, approaching and being aware means when you're first going to start to set up in the instrument, instead of going into it and bringing some baggage you may have accumulated along the way, such as, oh man, I may hope that I do this right, or there's a lot of people out there, or I always get a little antsy before a performance, or boy, my back feels tight, or none of this at all, and just sort of getting into the ready position and okay, we're going to play now. All of these things can induce an extra tension in the body that doesn't need to be there. So I always like to start out by just shaking out the wrists. Whatever warm-ups you may do, there's a lot of different ways to approach that, but if you just shake the wrist out, and not in a forceful way like you're trying to really accomplish something, but just shake it out like so. Let it go a little bit, maybe do some circles one way and the other. I always like to do that, and that helps me to just sort of loosen up and approach the instrument in a way that doesn't have any excess tension within. So by doing that, I'm able to approach the instrument and start to play as I would want to play. With the left, it's largely going to depend on your positioning with the instrument. If you play with the instrument against you like so, a lot of times you're going to have to reach around more, and as you can see, the wrist is bent excessively. Same thing if you have it in this way, you have to reach around in a variety of different ways that put the wrist at an angle that is not close to neutral or conducive to relaxation. Neutral being this middle sort of posture. Extension, pushed back like that. Flexion, down like that. And excessive flexion or extension, both of those are equally detrimental, and equally one is able to find themselves in that position if they're not careful. The other thing too is that when you do have to get in a position that is not neutral friendly to the wrist, which is going to be a good portion of the time when you're playing, you don't want to remain there. You play what you need to play, and then you try and keep the wrist as close to neutral as possible. So you get in and you get out essentially, but you don't want to have a rigidity. When I say neutral, it's not that you get this in your mind, okay, I have to have it neutral, and then you keep that so rigid and so stiff that it bothers you and it makes your hand stiffen up and tighten up in that respect by that very aspect of trying to keep it relaxed. You want to have it loose and fluid, and awareness is key. Of course, you're going to have to make certain adjustments along the way. Of course, there's positions, there's the claw, there's different techniques that one is going to utilize when playing. And none of these is really right or wrong. It's if you can, again, keep in your mind that you don't need to keep tension and rigidity in there excessively, and you're able to let it go, shake it out once in a while, and again, by awareness, not have excess tension. That's going to be the most useful thing to you. The same thing goes for the right hand, whether plucking, whether bowing, all of these things are going to require a certain rigidity that if you're aware of that going into it before you play, during play, and able to let it rest, drop, shake it out on both sides when you're able to, then you won't likely have as much difficulty from problem positioning, i.e. excessive flexion or extension, rather than keeping it neutral. And again, the take home is neutral doesn't mean to be stiff and rigid. Okay, so Randy Kurtz for the ISB, always available at the previously mentioned email address, drkertz@drkertz.com. My website, drkertz.com. You can find my book, The Basis Guide to Injury Management, Prevention and Better Health, available as an ebook only. The physical is sold out at my site, but you can still get it from your association, I believe, and from basebooks.com and Baselines in the UK. Still physical copies at these places. I also do Skype consultations, and thanks for the suggestions. Keep them coming. See you next time. Bye-bye.